that the head of the FDA's food division has resigned. Jim Jones says he quit because of the indiscriminate firing of roughly 89 people at his department.
Yeah, indiscriminate is the key word there. Was there rhyme or reason to it? Our White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks is here with more on this. Mary Alice, I know you've been covering the Doge works, the Doge guys, whatever we're calling them, throughout the government. This is another instance where at least, you know, the head of the FDA, the acting head, feels that they went in a chaotic direction. What impact is all this going to have?
Yeah, like you guys said, Jim Jones, who was the deputy FDA commissioner in charge of foods, wrote in this resignation letter, "I was looking forward to working to pursue the department's agenda for improving the health of Americans by reducing diet-related chronic disease." Obviously, that's been a big priority of the new Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK. And he says he wanted to reduce the risk of chemicals in food. But the letter goes on to say, it's been increasingly clear with the Trump administration's disdain for the very people necessary to implement your agenda, it would have been fruitless for me to continue in this role. Like you said, he described in his words, indiscriminate firings of 89 people that he said were staffed with working on nutrition and infant formula safety, staff that was hired to look at food ingredients. And of course, like I said, that's been a priority of this new Secretary of Health and Human Services, but also a constant and really growing concern among Americans. We're thinking about those stories over the last few years of infant food recalls, a number of food recalls just in the last year that have proven deadly across this country. So we're talking about work that really impacts the lives of Americans. It has been interesting to listen to this White House talk about agencies being required to make across-the-board cuts. We know that a lot of these agencies were required to put probationary employees who'd only been in their roles for less than a year on leave, and to sort of meet thresholds that would dramatically reduce the size of the federal government, sort of regardless of what those agencies and some of those programs are working on. And I will tell you guys, I've heard of this complaint from a lot of federal employees at different agencies that they're concerned that no one at the White House is asking enough about what they actually do before their programs are being eliminated. So I think this does get to a larger concern. We're hearing across the federal government that this Doge organization with inside the White House is working very fast. And in this case, we have a deputy commissioner of the FDA saying that it went too far and he can't stay.
So Jim Jones is one of thousands of federal workers clearly not happy with Elon Musk and Doge and all these firings. And now there's this new filing where White House lawyers actually claim that Musk doesn't even have formal authority to make government decisions. So what's going on?
Yeah, this is really interesting. I mean, this gets at the heart of so many of these lawsuits. Does Elon Musk, does his team have statutory authority to make hiring and firing decisions? The White House is now saying no, that Musk does not, that the only person making sort of hiring and firing decisions at an agency is the agency head. Now, it's really interesting in some of these agencies, of course, there is not a Senate confirmed head of that agency. We're still in a transition process where a lot of those confirmation hearings are still happening on Capitol Hill. And in those instances, normally there is an acting agency head, but we've heard so many of these acting heads feel like they're getting immense pressure from Musk's team and real conflicting guidance about whether Musk's team or the agency head is calling the shots. I think that right now it looks like the White House is trying to sort of cover Musk, say that he was not the one making these decisions. But of course, we've heard the president himself in the Oval Office saying that Musk basically has free reign. So it's really going to sort of come down to the judges in these lawsuits, I think, to put more pressure on the White House to sort out exactly what kind of authority Musk actually has.